Hello, the Astroflower family. How you doing? Welcome to another energy video. This time we're going to be exploring the digestive system. We all know all about the digestive system. We all have one, it's made up of a multitude of different things. So we're not going to go into specifics. We're going to see what the digestive system does as an ensemble, and also what it does in the way of sort of energy and the messages it can give you, what your body's trying to tell you, if there's any sort of signs as well, how it affects us emotionally, because we do call it the second brain.
There, in fact, it's called the enteric nervous system, and there is a gut-mind axis.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated to dive into this one.
Yeah.
And look at that connection. Yeah.
I find it even more. A much greater participant than the heart itself.
Okay.
Because we put a lot of emphasis on the heart, love, and everything like that, but actually the stomach does so much more, has so much more diversification on it that you can build up a real conversation.
What is the energy centre that is associated with the stomach?
You get the solar plexus. It's associated, I guess, with fire. But as I was saying on a video the other day, it's not necessarily just fire. It's also, there's earth involved, because we're talking about, eating something. And I always sort of say, whatever you put into your mouth, you should consider it a medication. Because it's not, although you get joy out of eating, and that's what it should be. It should be a joyous experience. If you don't want to know about joy, go and watch the tea meditation. And it should be a joyous experience, accumulation of multitudes of different things. It's partly where it's a transformation. Everything is about transformation. So it's transforming broccoli, pasta, cheese, whatever you're eating, into things that your body needs. Now, if you enjoy things, your body will work a lot better. So that's why life should be fun. Please do enjoy. That's why we finish on that, because that's so important. It's one of the fundamentals of life, So it's associated with the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is all to do with determination, sort of courage, confidence, your grit. And, we were talking earlier about the gut reaction.
That's a main thing that people understand. It's sort of from an emotional or even intuitive, it's a gut reaction. How does your gut feel about it? So, energetically, what is the association between that gut reaction? Where does it really come from?
Well, it does come from the sort of stomach, as it were. The stomach is like it can. When I'm looking at people's digestive system, first things first I look at is the intestines that come out of the stomach directly. And it sort of comes out the stomach here. You got the stomach here, and then it sort of like follows it all the way round like a series of U-bends, series of sort of like bends, and then it goes a little bit smaller, and then you get the large colon, large intestine, and you go into the large colon and everything like that. And one thing we should understand is that actually the inside of your stomach is the outside of your body.
How so?
Well, if you think about it, we're just like a donut. It's like, you got a hole there and you got a hole down the other end, and that in theory is like the inside of you. We are just like a circle in theory. And people, when you put things into your body, you're putting things into your stomach. It's like your lungs are the interior of your lungs is actually the exterior of your body. There's a lot of things. So it's digesting that, and the skin is very good at absorbing a lot of things like vitamin D through sunshine and so forth. And the stomach and the intestines does the same sort of thing. So the first thing I look for is the moment I start looking down like the intestines. So I'm looking down the intestines. I've got the stomach there, and then I come down into the intestines, and the moment I start looking down there, I can see whether people are holding on to things too tightly and not allowing your confidence or your courage as well to come forth. And when you sort of swallow things, so those
swallow things down, as in
emotions,
not expressing it, but taking it within.
And it tends to be like a drip sort of factor. It's a building thing. It's not just you do see big spikes, but generally you see accumulation. So let's just say, for example, you've got a colleague at work who parks his car incorrectly every time, and it makes a pain in the backside for you to park your car, but you don't say anything because you don't want to cause a ruckus, because it's only about parking cars. You're going to be swallowing that every time, and that's going to put, like, what I say is like a ring on your intestines, and then gradually you fill up your intestines, and it takes around about, and eventually you get another situation which then pushes all the other rings, like ball bearings in a way, through the entire system, and then it kind of goes and makes a hemorrhoid.
So when you said pain in the backside, you weren't joking.
No, totally.
That's where the expression might come from.
Yeah.
And also a common expression would be not being able to stomach something. Like, I can't stomach this. How do you see that energetically?
Well, that's simply because usually you get to a point where you can't take any more. Your intestines can't take any more. And that will mean your intestines are completely full. Either you're going to be pushing all those sort of like rings, as it were, through the thing, getting a hemorrhoid, or those rings are kind of going, no, we're not going anywhere, and it'll push back on the stomach. And that tends to be with someone kind of going, do you know what, I can't
So what
accept that
could that
anymore.
cause as a physical symptom? What could that cause?
There's huge amounts of bloating. You tend to get reflux, and then reflux. What happens is you've got the what we call in French the clapet, the flap that holds your stomach shut.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know any Latin names, so I do apologise. You get the flap that keeps it shut, and where you get this the stress that is pushing back upon the stomach, it's going to eventually blow that seal, or it's going to burn it so it can't close properly. Right. And then what you get is you get the muscle trying to close that flap even more and more and more, till eventually it breaks, and then you're getting a hernia in your
hiatus hernia.
Hiatus hernia, right? Okay, so in French it's hiatus hernia. And then once you get the hiatus hernia, your flap's not closing. You're going to get nothing but that coming up, and then that creates coughing permanently. Little.
So what's the most common sort of stomach or digestive issue that you face? I mean, I understand about 10% of GPs' working time is spent with digestive disorders, so such as indigestion or IBS or ulcers or reflux, as you've just said. What would you say is the most common thing that you deal with?
I would say it's more of a case of bloating and feeling uncomfortable.
And what would be the underlying? Would that be purely physical, or is there an emotional sort of underpinning?
There is all that emotion about sort of trying to keep things too much within your system, to swallow things where you're not expressing yourself. That's, for me, one of the main components. But there is obviously physical, so it could be to what you're eating. And if you're eating something in particular, I might be looking at what you eat and whether it's sort of good to eat and stuff like that. So I could look at your allergies and so forth within you as a person. So it could have something to do with that. It could have something to do as well with your bile and your liver, and you might have a bit too much fire and everything like that. In regards to sort of so like in Ayurveda they call it the pitta and so forth. And there's a multitude of ways of dealing with that. The best thing for my clients, for the people who come and see me, I try and work on the aspects that they can control. So if it is eating something, then fine, fair enough. Then that will help you to sort of be a lot better. But also at the same time, listening to your stomach. And the no comes from the stomach. The yes comes from the heart. And I think that's the most fundamental things. When someone says no, the first thing they do is they go, and they're blocking their solar plexus.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying, I ain't doing jack. You know what I mean? No, you can imagine, we've all done it as little kids, undoubtedly, and if we're embarrassed, it's more sort of like that. You tend to cuddle yourself. You're more covering the heart. You know what I mean?
Protecting it.
Yeah. So listening to your body is incredibly important. It's the first step to healing. We're going to go. We're doing videos on anxieties and stuff like that.
But we're going to go into a lot more detail in separate videos, taking more of the components of the digestive system, the gallbladder, the pancreas, the liver, because they've all got such important roles in themselves. So this is more of a generalised overview.
Would you come across it in the the hypnotherapy world? Do you look at that sort of thing in the stomach? Because obviously you must have determination, which comes out the NLP.
Yeah, if somebody's struggling with anxiety, they tend to feel it in their stomach. Mm-hmm. So panic attacks and things like that. It can either come in the head if the head's doing too much, but the feeling tends to come, from the stomach. Right. So yes, I mean it is a prime area as an emotional base as far as my work is concerned. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that sort of helps with anxiety and stuff like that. Also, courage and confidence, because obviously anxiety does come from confidence. There's a multitude of different things that are going on. And it's like cooking, isn't it? You know what I mean? Have a bit of this, a bit of confidence here, a bit of love here, a bit of joy here, a bit of anger there. You know what I mean? You got to mix it up a little bit. You don't be scared of emotions more than anything else as well. When you're living life, don't be scared of them. So
I think that's pretty much. So we don't go into too much detail on any one thing. Have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I would like to add something just about the solar plexus as well, as a chakra, and this is quite important as well because it does come up a bit, depending on how our anxiety and so forth sort of happens or reproduces. So if you've got a tendency to do too much for your children, and it tends, we have a bit of a problem, I think, within society a little bit like that. That is where that's where our children connect to the parents. They connect inside the solar plexus. It's not how we connect to our parents, but in our parents, yes, it's their solar plexus, but it doesn't come from our solar plexus. But it connects into that point. So sometimes you can have if you've got a particular child that's very demanding for multitudes of reasons. There's no fault here. We don't ever look for fault in this sort of situation. But you may find that you've got no determination. You're a little bit lackluster. That sort of thing. It feels like the kids just take up too much time and stuff like that. And that could also be part of it. And I think being really well connected, not just with your sort of family, but also with everything in life. It's a contributory factor that we should always, take into account in no matter what we're doing. So it's when we're doing energy healing, it is all about that. It's all about connecting a lot of different dots.
So that would be good to look into more specifics in upcoming videos.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's
Okay.
There you go. Okay. So yes. That's just on the basics of the
overview of the stomach and the digestive system.
Yeah. So I hope that helps you out. We will be going into a lot more details into, say, like allergies and so forth. At the moment, obviously we're just trying to cover as lot of general sort of topics, so then people can ease their way into this conversation that's not going to stop for years to come, I guarantee you.
Lots of content.
Yeah, lots and lots of content. So, I hope that sort of helps you out. If you do have any questions, please do ask. If you've got any topics as well which you would like us to go into, please do leave a comment in the description below. It'd be absolutely lovely. You can also contact us. I think the email's in the description as well. So yes, lovely to see you here. Thanking you very much for the support. If you know anybody who's got problems with their digestive system, do send them this video. The more that we can share, the more that life is going to be a lot better for everybody. In the meantime, thank you very much, Tanya. Thank you very much for being here with us. I guess that's all for us left to say is don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.